Okay, I think we're at time. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming on to learn Torah at this beautiful hour of 8:45 p.m. on Thursdays. And I would, first of all, I want to thank Rebbetzin Glassman for coming up with this idea to start getting back together, at least on Zoom, to get our classes going again. So thank you so much to Schiffer Glassman. And also, Linda Markowitz reached out to me that the Markowitz family would like to sponsor this evening's learning. So thank you so much. If anybody else would like to add in, if there's a yard site that the learning should be a schus for somebody, or for any, whether it's for a yard site, for a refuah, for a Yeshua, please let us know, and we'll certainly learn as a schus. So here's how I would like this to be structured. I want to try this. And just to ensure that this Zoom class goes full throttle. So we muted everybody for now. And what I would like to do is we're going to go through a book called Bilvavi Mishkan Evneh, which means that in my heart, I will build a Mishkan. I'm going to build an edifice. I'm going to make myself a kli, a vessel for HaKadosh Baruch Hu inside of our hearts. And the Bilvavi, interestingly, chooses to remain anonymous. I only learned of his name recently. I guess it's not a secret anymore. His name is Rabbi Itamar Schwartz. He's a Rav from Eretz Yisrael. But in the Sefer Bilvavi, he does not write his name. And my father, Zechrein Levracha, when he would learn through his Musar Svarim, would quote the Bilvavi. I always knew it as the Bilvavi says this, the Bilvavi says that. So we'll call it the Bilvavi. We're learning the Bilvavi. And Bilvavi Mishkan Evneh really starts out the first two chalakim, the first two books, really focuses on what is our understanding ourselves personally, and how we connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what Hashem wants from us as individuals, and how we can be the best servants of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So being that most of us, I'm assuming, do not have a copy of it, what I'm going to do is, for this year, let's learn for about 25, 30 minutes, where I'll pretty much be speaking and sharing. I'm going to screen share the words in English. Okay, I found an English translation. So I'm going to screen share the words in English, although I'll be reading it through in Hebrew. We'll do that for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. If anybody has questions during that time, please chat them to me. Okay, please send me questions. After the 25 to 30 minutes or so, then it'll become more interactive. I'll start responding to the questions, and we'll start unmuting ourselves. But for the time being, for the initial 25, 30 minutes, let's keep it more of a direct class instead of a back and forth. And after that, we'll get to questions. Again, please chat in any questions that you'd like. So here we go. I'm going to screen share. Okay, I'm hoping everybody can see my screen. Avram, if it's not working, please let me know. I believe you can unmute yourself. All right. So here we go. Says the Bilvavi as follows. And this is starting over here from number 1. I'll be reading it through in Hebrew. Reishis avodas ha'adam. First and foremost, in the service of a person, in the service of a human being, what is our avoda? What is our service to Hashem? Levarer la'atzmo. It doesn't start by understanding Hashem. Our serving Hashem does not start by understanding our relationship with Hashem. Rather, it starts with ma hatachlis shel chayav. What is the purpose of our personal lives? The word is his life, our individual life. This is a very important word, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to turn off the screen share for a moment. Because the Mesilas Yesharim in the beginning states that a person has to know machovaso ba'olamo. We don't have to first and foremost know what our role is in the world at large. We have to know first and foremost what our responsibility is in our own personal world. As Rabbi Victor Miller would, Zechariah Lebracha, would say that each and every one of us, if we think about it, each and every one of us are more important than the entire globe. This is a fact. The whole world is made for humanity. Everything that all of Hashem's creation was made for humanity. It was made for you. It was made for me. So each and every one of us individually are more important than the entire world. Our obligation, our mission is to know what is my world. How do I connect to all this? And as we've shared multiple times, I don't know, sometimes you just go through the most simplest things in life. I'm going to get to this. We'll get to this shortly, how the simple things are also the deepest. Zelda and I were sitting at a red light in Toronto, downtown, and the hustle and bustle that was going on every time the crosswalk signal changed, like hundreds of people every time it turned. And to us, each and every one of those people are props in our movie. They're just extras. We have our own movie that's going on. We're the center of our movie, and all these people happen to be walking by. But each and every one of them also is like this star of they have a story. They're a world. Each and every one of us is an entire world that's happening. They're not just these to me, they're a random prop. I probably will never meet these people again. And to them, I'm some dude sitting at a red light who's also a prop in their life. And they're just hustling and bustling, going around. But every one of us is an entire world. Says the Mesilas Yesharim. What do we need to do? We need to know what is our obligation in our own personal world. And this is what the Bilvavi is starting out with. When he says these words in the very beginning, when he says, I will share the screen again. When a person has to know what's going on in his life, what's going on in our personal lives. What we're saying is we need to know ourselves first and foremost very well. We got to really know who we are. Let's keep reading. Nakdim hakdama ketzara ledvarim. Let's begin with a short introduction. Kol Yehudi Yodea Davar Pashin. Every Jew, and this is the premise we need to have. Okay, the premise we're going to have is that we know there's a God. That's going to be the premise of this sefer. A person who's a thinking person recognizes that there's a Rabbeinu Shalom, there's a creator in the world. Shabara es olam, that did create the world, ubara oso, and also created me. Umachaya es kol olam kulo. And not only did the creator create me, but he continues to give life to the world. Ubechlal af oso, and I'm also one of those people. Each and every one of us need to think this to ourselves. Hashem created the entire world, continues to create the entire world, and me too. I am one of the people that Hashem has decided the world cannot exist without me. That's us. That's me. That's you. The world can't exist without any of us. Haborei Olam, the creator of the world, Omer lechol Adam, he says to every person, Ma hu mevakesh menu. This is so fascinating. Hashem tells each person what he wants from us. The information, we're sitting here thinking like, what? Really? I know exactly what Hashem wants from me? I'm so confused. There's so many things going on. I've got no idea what Hashem wants from me. But the truth is, as we're going to see, Hashem does let us know there's a way to find out what Hashem wants from us. There's a way. Ella, but sheshoresh habaya. There's a root of the problem. and that is Sheha'adam lo yibar lo HaKadosh Baruch Hu writes mimenu. The problem is that although Hashem is telling us what He wants from us, I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it. For some reason, I'm not connected to this message. Hashem really has a way of letting us know, but for some reason, on my end of the relationship, I'm confused. I'm in a fog. I'm not sure what exactly it is that Hashem wants from me. What does Hashem expect from me to do with my life? What does Hashem want me to do with my life? And this is a question that any thinking, believing Jew should be asking themselves. We know there's Hashem. We know Hashem wants to have a relationship with me. There's obviously a way that Hashem is allowing it to happen. But I don't get it. I don't get it. But I'll tell you what some of us might think. Some of us might think, hey, well, this is not even a smart question. You know why? Because I know what to do. I'll learn Torah and I'll keep the 613 mitzvos. That's exactly what I'm supposed to do. V'im yishal hashol, the person's going to say, oh, are we dealing with a person who's a non-believer? What do you mean? Hashem gave us the Torah. I know exactly what He expects of me. And if you look inside the Torah, it'll tell us with absolute clarity. What's the purpose in our life? To fulfill the 630 commandments. That's exactly what my response is going to be. This is a tremendous mistake. Listen to this. But the truth is, the world in Hebrew is called olam. Ha'olam, the world, nikra olam mishum he'elam. The root of the word olam, by intrinsic definition, means it's hidden. When we live, Baruch atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech olam, Hashem, you're the source of all blessing that created the olam. The word world also means hidden. Why does the word world mean hidden? Kikach ritzono yisbarach shemo. This is fascinating. This is exactly what Hashem wants. Hashem purposefully made this world hidden from us knowing what our end of the relationship. Hashem tells us, and He puts it out there. It's available, but it's hiding. And that's what the word olam means. The word olam means is that we have to go search out our relationship with Hashem. What Hashem wants is that if I don't yearn to know what I'm supposed to do, and I don't desire to know what I'm supposed to do and work for it, levarer b'diyuk, to know exactly what exactly it is that Hashem wants from me. If I don't care enough to work for it, Hashem wants that there's going to be no way to figure it out. Our lives are going to be filled with confusion, with fog. And the world, the physical world of Olam, will always remain He'elam. Will always remain He'elam. Now listen to this next paragraph. This is a huge shift on how a Jew is supposed to perform mitzvahs. And here's how it works very often. This is what the next paragraph is going to be teaching us. Very often, understand a bit more people. Very often, we view the 613 mitzvos as like snacks. You know, you grab a cookie, you grab an apple. Oh, there's an opportunity for this mitzvah. Oh, there's an opportunity for that mitzvah. Oh, opportunity for this. It's like we're just grabbing random mitzvos that come our way. And we know that's great, right? Whenever we have a mitzvah, a possibility to perform something good and to get schar, get reward, come closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so I'm grabbing mitzvos. That is not the ultimate method in Avodas Hashem. What we're going to learn in the next paragraph is that actually mitzvos are like buildings. And the same way, you can't just take all the building materials and just start lumping them together and thinking you're going to put the concrete for the foundation is going to be on floor 15, and the penthouse apartment is going to be on the first floor because that's what got there first. Doesn't work like that, right? There has to be a structure. There has to be a way that things are put into place. So too it is with mitzvahs. We're not going to get complete clarity yet in this class on exactly how it works, but this is a fascinating shift that we're supposed to take in how we approach mitzvahs. That, yes, to take as many mitzvahs as we can whenever it comes our way, but it's really meant, if we want a beautiful, sincere, healthy view on mitzvahs, there's supposed to be a path, a plan, and how the mitzvahs are performed. So here we go. This is the next paragraph. Right in the middle. The point is, avol be'emes, but the truth is, a person knows that there's 613 mitzvahs to fulfill. We have to know that to serve Hashem does not mean to just keep gathering scattered mitzvahs. Kol pam, anytime, masha hizdami lo, whatever comes my way. Oh, that's okay. Grab this, grab that. Ella hataryag mitzvahs, the 613 mitzvahs. We're supposed to fulfill them like we're building something, like an edifice. You know why? Because the same way a building is a structure, so too it is with a human being. We are buildings. Hence the introduction to this Sefer. What is this book called? Bilvavi, in my heart, Mishkan Evneh. I will build a Mishkan. I'm going to build an edifice, a place where Hashem can reside. Our bodies and our neshamos are like an edifice, and the mitzvahs need to be placed inside of us properly. V'lakach, and therefore, tzarich derech berura. We need a very clear path. Ketzad kiyum hamitzvahs natze b'suras bin. How do I do this? If there's a structure to how mitzvahs need to be done, well, what is that structure? I have to find that out. In the world of Menachem Tendler, and in your world, in my world, each of our individual worlds, we have to know for ourselves, Mahu Reisha Shalbinya. Well, what goes on the ground floor? Which mitzvah for me is the foundation? Maha Hemshech. And then which mitzvahs are like the middle floors? Ma Tachlis Shakobin mitzvah. And what is everything going to look like at the end? What is this edifice supposed to look like? Kalomar, meaning, ala adam levarer, a person must gain clarity, must clarify. How in the world is it that mitzvos build up my neshama? How? The ketzad hamahalach shel kiyam advarim. And how do I put it into place? Which mitzvah is the foundation of my world, because it very well may be a different foundation than your world. Mahu arashis, where do I start? Mahu hemshech, where do I continue? Mahu atachlis, what is my ultimate goal? Last paragraph of this section before number 2. Hatarag mitzvahs nasi la'adam. The tarag mitzvahs are given to 630 mitzvahs are given to a person. Ulam ala adam levarlo. However, yes, we've got 613 different mitzvahs, but we must clarify for ourselves where to start. There's so many different mitzvahs to love Hashem, to fear Hashem, Dveikus Hashem, which is going to be a big focus of this Sefer. How do I get myself to constantly feel attached to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, where I'm cleaving, I'm clinging to Hashem throughout the day? How do I get myself there? Because we're each going to get there in different ways. We got to give order to this. We got to make order. When there's confusion in the world, which there must be. This is what Hashem wants. That's why it's called Olam, because it's hidden. And when there's hidden, kasha lahasig, it's going to be very difficult to find out unless we strive to actually find out. Unless we're striving to actually find out what it is, it's going to be hidden from us. There's going to be no other way to figure it out. Okay. That's the end of part one. That's part one. Part two, I don't see any chats yet to answer any questions yet. So we'll read part two. It's very short. And then we'll open up for discussion. So here we go. We're now going to read number 2. Reishis Kol. First of all, how do we start? How do we start understanding? First of all, Lifnei Shen Nigash Levir Advarim, before we start to understand what we're talking about. A person must really want to. When things are hidden, you can't give up too fast. If this is important to me to know, how do I personally serve Hashem and cling to Hashem, and what my edifice is going to look like, we have to want it. We have to want to find out. Because the world is called Olam, hidden. And we have to know ourselves first. This is very interesting. We have to understand first and foremost what our entire situation is in this world. This is a huge sentence. Because my situation, my background, my experiences that continue to happen even in just the past week, the past day, plays a tremendous role in who I am as an Eved Hashem, who I am as a servant of Hashem. And the same thing is true with each and every one of us individually. Where do I stand? What type of family do I come from? What type of background do I have? There's a reason why Hashem has given me all the experiences that I have. So we have to know the experiences that we stand upon and ultimately try to clarify how it relates to Avodas Hashem, how it connects to Avodas Hashem. V'chovosenu, it's our obligation, but at the same time our zechus. It's a merit. It happens to be just an interesting idea. The word zechus, which means merit, the root of the word zechus is zach, which means pure. When a person gains merit, it's because we are purifying ourselves to really gain clarity. So it's our obligation, but our opportunity, levaras kol tzuras hachaim kan, to really understand what just happened. What is the circumstances that are coming my way? Aleinu lahavinu lahargish. It's an obligation upon us to feel and understand. Yes, granted, ultimate bliss is going to happen in Gan Eden. V'kan, and over here we've got a job to do. In the next world, there's no jobs. In the next world is rest. In this world, we have responsibilities. And that is to figure out who I am as an Eved Hashem. What is the solid, healthy, pleasant way that me with my circumstances, my situation that Hashem wants to put me into. Now, I just want to focus on this concept for a moment. And that's like this. There's a rhyme and a reason why each of us individually are passionate about things that we're passionate about. And let me explain. And I heard this from my Rebbeim, so I know it's emes. It's not coming from me. You have a person, let's say you have a person who's got money to give to tzedakah. $50, $500, $5,000, $5 million, $50 million, $500 million. Any amount of tzedakah. I have tzedakah, I have charity I want to put in my pocket. So one person will, for whatever reason, be passionate that money should go to outreach. Another person will have a passion that their tzedakah should go to the poor. Somebody else will have a passion that the tzedakah should go to education. Somebody else wants to go to a kollel, to go to a shul, to go to whatever. If Hashem put our hearts and minds in a certain place, it's because of experiences, and that's what Hashem wants. Hashem wants it that way. We need to be true to ourselves as well. Doesn't mean to only care about that thing. No. We know that we take care of, we're supposed to spread out and help any proper cause. But there's always going to be certain things when it comes to tzedakah, that's the example I'm giving, when it comes to our energy, when it comes to our volunteering, when it comes to what we're focused on. For some reason, my heart is in a particular place. That is a message from Hashem. There's a reason why my heart is in that particular place, and go with it. That's fine. Go with it. That's healthy. Standard. It's supposed to be like that. What we're saying in this paragraph is we have to know in our lives, to be a true Eved Hashem, the circumstances that we stand on. Stop trying to live the way that other people are trying to convince us. Maybe they're right. So if it's a mentor or somebody who we should be listening to, of course, who's a wise person, somebody who learns from everybody and takes in all information. So of course, not to yet at the same time, there's a reason why circumstances put me in a position to do this. So that's all. Everything is avodas Hashem. In order to be a proper Eved Hashem, here's a big nakuda that we're taking out so far from today. And we're going to wrap this up, the monologue, in 1 minute. The big nakuda is that in order to be a proper Eved Hashem, it doesn't only start by knowing Hashem. It starts by knowing me. I have to know me to be a healthy Eved Hashem. Let's finish off this last paragraph. We'll put it back up. The things that we're dealing with over here, these things should not be like, otherworldly theories, Kabbalah that we don't understand. He's like, I'm not trying to get deep over here. I'm dealing with over here life. Simple, plain and simple. Plain and simple life. What am I supposed to do when I'm here standing on planet Earth? I'm here. God put me in this world. I'm going to have X amount of years. All right. What am I supposed to be doing? What's this building that I'm supposed to be building? And together, we will do our best to try to clarify, because again, we're in a world of hidden. We're in a world that's hidden. Olam. We will do our best in coming sessions to clarify from the easy concepts to the more difficult concepts. Shlav al gav shlav, step by step. So we can create a proper ladder that we're climbing up. So that ultimately we can build for ourselves a proper path and a proper ladder that we know that we can ultimately serve Hashem in the best possible way with. That is the reading of the Bilvavi that I'd like to hold off here with now. I'm going to open up the possibilities for people to unmute themselves because there is a chat. Before doing so, let's see. Let's open it up. If anybody would like to has any questions, there's no mitzvah. If there is no questions, if anybody has any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Otherwise, I do have one more point. I believe you have the ability to unmute yourselves. Okay. I don't hear anybody. Oh, got a message here. Okay. Here's the question. Or it's a statement. If a person knows oneself, then they know Hashem because Hashem is within all of us. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is why this has to be the goal. The reason why this has to be the goal is because a neshama, right? There's a famous thing that we've quoted many times in Pirkei Avos. We don't have souls. We are souls that have a body, right? What is a neshama? It's something that is a piece of Hashem. So when we get to know ourselves more, that is getting to know Hashem, because that ultimately is who each and every one of us are. We are a chelek elekami mal. We're this little spark, which is why the ultimate happiness, joy, and gladness comes from the relationship, comes from dveikus, and that's going to be a big focus that we'll be getting into. And that is the clinging to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, connecting ourselves, because it's kind of like if you have a screw that fell off of a larger thing, that screw's meant to fit back in, and that's where it belongs, right? So sometimes that's what happens to us. We're part of this incredible spirituality that is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we've kind of been put down here on the world. It's like we've been separated, so to speak, not completely Baruch Hashem, but a little bit separated. And then when we start to understand where that screw fits in, it goes back in. So boom, when we understand ourselves, we start to truly understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I came across again, like we said before, like the simplest things are the deepest. I came across a story that I had to think, I'm still thinking about it. Listen to this story. Okay, listen to this incident that happened. And the message of this that I want to take out is the knowledge of our gedolim, people who are true servants of Hashem, to be able to self-critique and to really get to know themselves. Okay? And I'm going to start with something very important to know. Very simple, but very important. This is Torah. And that is, the weaker we are as people, the weaker emotionally we are, the less able we are to self-critique. Obviously, that's natural, right? The less confidence we have, we shouldn't constantly be self-critiquing, because that'll just kill our confidence. But it's still a sign of, people need to kind of keep up. We have to keep up our strength, so we can't self-critique too much. But it's really just the opposite, right? A person who's really strong is not scared to discover, is not scared to look inside and discover, the positives, the negatives, balance myself out. And to critique ourselves really takes kaiches hanefesh. It takes strength. It takes strength of nefesh to be able to really try to understand and to get to know ourselves. See, here's the incident. Seems to be a simple incident. I think it is so simple, but I think that's why it's so deep. See, here's what happened. I saw this in a book called Secrets of the Soul. Secrets of the Soul by Reb Shlomo Hoffman. It came out. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful book. And it's about it has a lot of, it's a lot of understanding people, understanding ourselves. And he was a big confidant of a lot of Israeli Gedolim. And they came out with a book recently in English. Who publishes it? Feldheim. A great, great book called Secrets of the Soul. Okay? Rabbi Shlomo Hoffman. So in this book, he brings down a incident that he had with Reb Chatzkel Abramsky. And he would give shir in Slabodka Yeshiva. And after he lived in Yerushalayim, but he would give shir in Slabodka, and then he would go to Tel Aviv to take the bus back to Yerushalayim. So Rabbi Shlomo Hoffman says that one time he was walking with Reb Dave Schwartzman. Reb Dave Schwartzman is from the Cutler family. My father had this chus. My father's Chana L'Bracha had this chus to learn with Reb Dave Schwartzman for a little bit before he went to Eretz Yisrael. He became the Yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael of Lakewood East. And Reb Shlomo Hoffman was walking with Reb Dave Schwartzman, and they saw Reb Chatzkel Abramsky on Rothschild Boulevard. And Reb Dave Schwartzman says, let's go talk to Reb Chatzkel. So he says, Reb Shlomo Hoffman says, no, Reb Chatzkel Abramsky looks sick. I don't want to bother him. Right? You ever have this, you see somebody, it's like exciting. You ever see a gadol, be like, I don't want to waste this time. Who am I to go talk to that person, right? Reb Dave Schwartzman says, Reb Chatzkel is not going to stand there by himself. I'm going to talk to him. Okay. So Reb Dave Schwartzman goes to talk to Reb Chatzkel Abramsky, and Reb Shlomo Hoffman stands behind. Reb Chatzkel Abramsky sees Reb Dave coming to him, and he notices Reb Shlomo Hoffman is not coming. So he says, why not? So Reb Dave Schwartzman says he doesn't want to bother you. He says, you're not feeling well. So Reb Chatzkel says that I'm actually feeling fine, but the reason why I look sick is because there's something bothering me. Listen to what was bothering him. This is the story. He was walking at a yeshiva, and he saw the mashkiach of the yeshiva, Rav Moshe Tukachinsky. The mashkiach of the yeshiva was carrying a hot pot of soup. Rav Chatzkel Abramsky sees Rav Moshe Tukachinsky carrying a hot pot of soup. So Rav Chatzkel asks him where he's going, and he says, there's a bacher who's sick, so I'm bringing him soup. So Rav Chatzkel asked him, you don't have to schlep the pot yourself. You could get one of the boy's friends to bring it to him. And Rav Moshe Tukachinsky says, the Shulchan Aruch states very clearly that the mitzvah of Bikur Cholim is to help somebody physically and with our own bodies, and therefore I prefer to do it myself. To me, this is a very simple story. No biggie. So it seems. Reb Chatzkel tells them, he says, this is why I'm crying. Because I totally forgot about a halacha in the Shulchan Aruch. I'm bothered that I even asked Rav Moshe Tukachinsky why he's carrying the pot. I need Rav Moshe Tukachinsky to teach me such a simple halacha. It must be, says Rav Chatzkel Abramsky, he says about himself to the other two, he says it must be my arrogance as a Rebbe in a yeshiva did not allow me to even remember such a simple halacha that somebody else does with such simplicity. That's the story. He's crying because he's realizing the self-critique, just the willingness to get to know himself. The Shulchan Aruch says, Bikur Chaylim, you do it yourself. Go bring the person food. He's asking a Rebbe, why can't he realized in himself that the only reason why the question was even there in the first place was because there must be some level of arrogance, and that's why he looks sick. That's why he looks sick, because he's trying to figure out this midah, this trait. How does he perfect that? How does he perfect that trait? So this gets back to it. How do we come to know Hashem? How do we come to be better avodim of Hashem? When we're willing to start to really get to know ourselves. And Be'ezus Hashem, in coming weeks, we'll keep moving further and further into this topic, and to try to gain understanding in our own world of what our building is supposed to look like. And we will hold it here for this evening. If anybody has any points or thoughts, please feel free to share. Otherwise, I will end the meeting shortly. Okay.
Thank you so much.
A pleasure. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Have a wonderful Shabbos, everybody. Have a wonderful Shabbos.
Good night, Rabbi. Thank you.